Welcome in Vicky Whispers, your safe harbor for quiet evenings and peaceful nights. Here you'll find sleep stories and bedtime stories crafted to guide you into a state of deep relaxation and the most restful deep sleep. Tonight, let this be your moment, a time to unwind, let go, and prepare for the best sleep time. Before we begin, take a moment to create your perfect cocoon of comfort. Lie down in bed, snuggle under a warm blanket, or rest in your favorite chair. Feel your body supported by the surface beneath you, as though the earth itself is cradling you in safety and calm. Adjust your position until you feel completely at ease, your body melting into relaxation. Let's begin with a deep, soothing breath. Slowly breathe in through your nose, drawing in peace and calm. Hold it gently for a moment and then release it softly through your mouth. Feel the day begin to slip away, each exhale carrying tension and worry far from you. Let your shoulders fall, your hands relax, and your body grow heavier with each breath. Close your eyes or let them rest gently, soft and unfocused. Imagine a tranquil scene. Perhaps a quiet forest, kissed by the soft glow of moonlight, or a still ocean where the waves ripple gently under a canopy of stars. Let this peaceful image settle in your mind, wrapping you in a sense of safety and serenity. With every breath, you're letting go of the day. The busyness, the noise, and the weight of it all are fading now, replaced by stillness and ease. This is your time to get sleepy, your time to release everything and simply be. Let my voice guide you tonight like a soft current, carrying you closer to calm. Each word of this bedtime story is crafted to quiet your mind and soothe your body, gently leading you towards deep sleep. Feel yourself drifting like a feather floating on the breeze, lighter and calmer with every moment. Breathe deeply once more and let it go. With every breath, feel your body surrendering to rest, your thoughts growing quieter, and your spirit softening into peace. This is your sanctuary, a place of comfort, calm, and preparation for the best sleep time you've ever had. as the story unfolds. Let the words carry you into a state of pure relaxation. You are safe, you are calm, and you are ready to let go. There is nothing more to do, nothing to hold on to. Just allow yourself to drift into the soothing rhythm of the night. Now, let the day dissolve. Let the night embrace you. You are ready to surrender to rest and welcome deep, restorative sleep. Let's begin. Ash-Maiden by Grimm Brothers, modified and read by Viktor Hejna. Once upon a time, in a quiet village, nested at the edge of an ancient forest, there lived a wealthy merchant. His wife, known for her kindness and wisdom, was the heart of their home. She and her husband shared one cherished daughter, a bright and gentle girl who was loved by all who knew her. But happiness in the household was not to last. One bitter winter, the wife fell gravely ill. As she lay on the bed, weak and frail, she called her daughter close. The girl, barely old enough to understand the weight of the moment, held her mother's hand tightly. The woman whispered her final words. "My darling child, remain kind and virtuous no matter what the world may bring. If you do, I will watch over you from the heavens and ensure that your goodness is rewarded." With that, she closed her eyes for the last time. Grief consumed the household. Every day, the girl visited her mother's grave beneath the tall hazel tree in the garden. She wept until her tears froze in the winter air, and chafed with the spring sun. Though her heart ached, she clung to her mother's advice, striving to be good and pious even when sorrow threatened to overwhelm her. But as the seasons passed, the merchant, lonely and desiring companionship, remarried. His new wife was as cold and vain as she was beautiful, bringing with her two daughters who mirrored her nature. Though outwardly charming, the trio harbored hearts filled with jealousy and spite, especially towards the merchant's daughter. From the moment they moved in, the stepmother and stepsisters treated the girl with cruelty. The sisters mocked her, calling her a silly goose and a kitchen wench, insisting that she was unworthy of sharing their parlour. They stripped her of her fine dresses, replacing them with a threadbare grey gown and heavy wooden shoes. Her once comfortable life became a daily struggle. She rose before dawn to fetch water, light fires, scrub floors, and prepare meals. Yet her labor was never enough to satisfy her stepmother, who seemed to delight in assigning her impossible tasks. The sisters, no kinder, made sport of her misery by tossing peas and lentils into the ashes, forcing her to sit for hours, painstakingly picking out the grains one by one. At night, when the household was quiet, she had no soft bed to rest upon. Instead, she curled up on the cold hearth, her body blanketed in soot and ashes. Over time, the sisters mockingly nicknamed her the Ash-Maiden, the name that seemed to strip her of any dignity she had left. Despite the hardship, the girl's spirit remained unbroken. Whenever despair threatened to consume her, she would visit her mother's grave beneath a hazel tree, seeking solace. One day, after a particular cruel taunt from her stepsisters, she planted a hazel branch from the tree upon the grave, a gesture born of love and longing. Her tears watered the branch, and soon it grew into a magnificent tree, its branches stretching skyward, as if to bridge the earthly and divine. Every day she sat beneath the tree to pray and find comfort. One morning, as she whispered her wishes into the air, a small white bird appeared in the branches. The bird seemed to understand her sorrows, and when she spoke her heart's desires, it dropped gifts from the tree, tokens that filled her with hope. This small miracle became her secret, a bright spot in an otherwise bleak life. Some time later, news spread throughout the land that the king was a host of a grand festival, a 3-day event to celebrate his son's search for a bride. Every young woman in the kingdom was invited, speaking excitement among all. For the two stepsisters, it was an opportunity too great to pass up. They spoke of little else, chattering about dresses, jewels, and how one of them might catch the prince's eye. The household buzzed with preparation as the sisters ordered Ash-Maiden to prepare their gowns, polish their shoes, and ensure every hair was perfectly in place. Despite her own desire to attend the ball, the girl dared not voice her wish. But as she worked tirelessly for her stepsisters, her longing grew too strong to suppress. When her father returned home from the market one evening, bearing gifts for the family, the sisters eagerly unwrapped their treasures, fine dresses and sparkling jewels. Turning to Ash-Maiden, he asked gently, "And what would you like, my child?" Though she knew the request would seem odd, she replied softly, "The first branch that brushes your hat on your way home." The merchant, though puzzled, agreed. On his return journey, as he rode through the forest, a hazel branch brushed against his hat, and he broke it off, tucking it into his bag. When he handed the branch to his daughter, she accepted it with a smile and carried it to her mother's grave, planting it beside the tree. There, beneath its growing canopy, she felt a sense of peace, unlike any she had known since her mother's passing. As the festival drew near, the household became a whirlwind of activity. The sisters could speak of nothing but their gowns and plans for the ball, delighting in the thought of dancing in the royal palace. On the morning of the first day, they commanded Ash-Maiden to prepare them for the event. While combing their hair and fastening their shoes, she hesitantly asked if she too might go to the festival. The stepsisters burst into laughter. You go to the ball? In those rags, the prince would surely laugh at you. When she pleaded again, the stepmother, feigning kindness, devised a cruel challenge. If you can pick a dish of lentils out of the ashes within 2 hours, you may join us. Though the task seemed insurmountable, Ash-Maiden refused to give up. She slipped into the garden and whispered to the birds, "You tame pigeons, you gentle turtle doves, and all you birds under heaven, come and help me." To her astonishment, a flock of birds appeared, swooping into the kitchen. With nimble beaks, they sorted the lentils, separating the good against from the bad. In no time the task was complete. Eagerly she presented the dish to her stepmother, but the woman only smirked. "Very well," she said, "but now you must do it again, this time with 2 dishes of lentils, and you have only 1 hour. Once again, Ash-Maiden called upon her feathered helpers, who came without hesitation. Within moments, the task was done. Yet when she brought the dishes to her stepmother, the woman's expression hardened. "No, you cannot go. You have no suitable clothes, no shoes. A filthy girl like you would only embarrass us." The rejection stung, but Ash-Maiden refused to lose hope. She returned to the hazel tree where the white bird awaited her and whispered her wish. The gentle rustling of leaves seemed to answer her plea. From above, a white bird descended, carrying a gown of shimmering gold and silver. The dress seemed to catch and hold the light, its fabric flowing like liquid sunlight. Along with the dress came delicate slippers, embroidered with threads of silk and silver, their craftsmanship so fine they appeared otherworldly. Clad of this radiant attire, Ash-Maiden made her way to the palace. Her transformation was so complete that neither her stepmother nor her stepsisters recognized her. They assumed she was a foreign princess, her beauty and elegance unmatched. The moment she entered the grand hall, all eyes turned to her, but none more intently than the king's son. He approached her immediately, his steps confident yet reverent, and extended his hand. "May I have this dance?" Ash-Maiden hesitated only for a moment before placing her hand in his. As they moved across the polished floor, it felt as though the world had fallen away, leaving only the two of them in perfect harmony. The prince danced with no one else that evening, declaring her his sole partner. As the night deepened, Ash-Maiden felt the pull of the life she must return to. Politely, she excused herself, but the prince was not so easily deterred. "Allow me to accompany you," he said, his voice earnest. He wished to uncover the mystery of her identity, but Ash-Maiden, knowing the truth would bring nothing but shame, slipped away into the night. She darted towards the pigeon house near her home and disappeared inside, her heart pounding in her chest. When the prince arrived with her father, he explained how the mysterious maiden had vanished into the pigeon house. Suspicious, the father fetched an axe and a pickaxe to tear the structure apart. Yet, when it was opened, it was empty. Unbeknownst to them, Ash-Maiden had already fled. She had rushed to the hazel tree, where she returned the dress and slippers to the white bird. Then she slipped back into her grey gown and settled herself among the ashes in the kitchen, her disguise complete. The second night of the feast followed a similar pattern. Ash-Maiden, spurred by the dream of the life beyond servitude, once again turned to the hazel tree. "Shiver and quiver, little tree, shiver and gold throw over me," she whispered. This time the white bird gifted her a gown even more breathtaking than the first. Its fabric seemed woven from the light of the moon, and its hem sparkled with jewels like stars. Ash-Maiden, now radiant beyond imagination, returned to the palace. The prince, who had been awaiting her arrival, wasted no time in claiming her hand once more. The envy of every maiden in attendance, she danced gracefully, her laughter and beauty enchanting all who saw her. As the evening waned, she once again attempted to leave. This time she darted into the garden behind her home, her feet carrying her swiftly under the shadow of a magnificent pear tree. Like a squirrel, she climbed its branches, hiding herself among the leaves. When the prince arrived, he called for her father, explaining that the maiden had vanished into the tree. The father, his suspicions deepening, ordered the tree cut down. Yet when the final blow fell to the tree, no one was there. Ash-Maiden had already descended from the far side, running to the hazel tree to return her borrowed finery. By the time her family returned home, she was once again nested among the ashes, her appearance as humble as ever. On the third and final day of the feast, Ash-Maiden made her way to the hazel tree for what she knew would be her last chance to experience the magic. "Shiver and quiver, little tree, silver and gold throw over me," she murmured. This time the white bird brought her a gown so splendid it defied description. It shimmered with every color of the rainbow, and her slippers sparkled as if adorned with countless diamonds. As she prepared to leave for the palace, she felt a deep sense of resolve. Tonight would be different. Tonight she would not run. When Ash-Maiden entered the feast, the hall fell silent, for her beauty left all in awe. The king's son, captivated as ever, claimed her hand at once and declared, "She's my partner." No one dared approach to invite her, for his gaze never left her. As evening descended, Ash-Maiden sought to slip away, but the king's son determined to uncover her mystery and prepared the staircase with pitch. As she fled, her left golden slipper became caught and remained behind. She disappeared into the night, leaving the prince with her tiny golden slipper as the only clue to her identity. The next morning, the prince set out, golden slipper in hand, proclaiming, "No one shall be my bride but the maiden whose foot fits this slipper." Excitement buzzed through the household of Ash-Maiden's family. The two proud sisters, eager to claim the throne, rushed to try on the slipper. The eldest entered her chamber, but her foot was too large, her big toe refusing to fit. Her mother, unyielding, handed her a knife and said, "Cut off the toe. When you are a queen, you shall have no need to walk." Though the pain was great, the eldest sister obeyed, forcing her foot into the slipper. She emerged, her face composed, and presented herself to the prince. Believing her to be the one, he lifted her onto his horse and began to ride away. As they passed the hazel tree, the doves perched above cried out, "Turn and peep, turn and peep. There's blood within the shoe. The shoe is too small for her. The true bride awaits for you." Hearing this, the prince looked down and saw blood trickling from the shoe, staining her white stocking. He halted at once, turned back, and declared, "This is not the true bride." The eldest sister was returned home in disgrace. Then the second sister tried her fortune. She managed to fit her toes into the shoe, but her heel would not follow. Once more, the mother handed her a knife, saying, "Cut off the heel. When you're a queen, you shall not need to walk." Resolute, the second sister followed her mother's instructions, forcing her foot into the golden slipper, and stifling her pain, the prince lifted her onto his horse and rode off. But again, as they passed the hazel tree, the doves sang, "Turn and peep, there is blood within the shoe. The shoe, it is too small for her, the true bride awaits for you." The prince saw blood dripping from the shoe and the stains upon her stocking. He turned back in anger and returned her to her home. "Is there no other daughter?" he demanded of the father. "She's only a little kitchen girl," the man replied hesitantly, "left to us by my late wife. Surely she cannot be the bride." But the prince insisted, and Ash-Maiden was summoned. Before approaching the prince, she washed her hands and face until they shone. Then she appeared, bowed humbly, and seated herself upon a stool. She slipped her foot effortlessly into the golden shoe, which fit as if it has been made for her. When she rose, the prince recognized her at once, the beautiful maiden who had danced with him. He cried out, "This is the true bride." The monster and sisters turned pale with fury and despair, but their protests were in vain. The prince took Ash-Maiden onto his horse, and as they passed the hazel tree, the doves sang joyfully, turn and peep, no blood is in the shoe is not too small for her, the true bride rides with you." The doves then flew down, perching on Ash-Maiden's shoulders, one on the right and one on the left, and stayed there as loyal companions. The wedding was grand, and the king's son and Ash-Maiden were wed in splendor. Hoping to share in her newfound fortune, the two sisters attended, feigning goodwill. Yet, as they walked beside the couple, one of the left and one of the right, the doves, ever watchful, swooped down and pecked out one eye from each of them. Later, as the sisters left the church, the doves returned, taking their second eyes. Thus, from their cruelty and deceit, the sisters were punished with blindness for the rest of their lives, while Ash-Maiden and the prince lived happily ever after. Good night.